Staying original in a world obsessed with imitation is one of the greatest challenges of our time. Everywhere you look, people are copying trends, following crowds, repeating opinions, and chasing validation. Originality has become rare, yet it is more powerful than ever. To stay original is not to rebel for attention, but to live honestly, courageously, and authentically. When you stay true to who you are, you don't need permission, applause, or approval. Your originality becomes your identity, and eventually the world begins to take notes. From a young age, society teaches us how to fit in. We are taught what success should look like, how we should dress, speak, think, and even dream. Slowly, without realizing it, many people trade their uniqueness for acceptance. They silence their true voice to avoid criticism. But history has never been shaped by people who blended in. Every breakthrough, every revolution, and every meaningful change came from someone who dared to be different. Originality starts with self-awareness. You cannot stay original if you do not know who you are. Many people live disconnected from themselves, constantly influenced by external noise. They absorb opinions, trends, and expectations until their own identity becomes blurred. To stay original, you must take time to reflect, to understand your values, your beliefs, your strengths, and even your flaws. Authenticity begins when you stop pretending and start understanding. Fear is the biggest enemy of originality. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of failure. People often abandon their originality not because they lack talent, but because they lack courage. Courage is choosing truth over comfort. It is standing firm in your identity even when you are misunderstood. When you stay original, you will not always be celebrated. Sometimes you will be criticized, isolated, or doubted. But remember, resistance is often a sign that you are doing something meaningful. The world does not need another copy. It needs your perspective, your voice, your creativity, and your story. No one else has lived your experiences, felt your emotions, or seen life through your eyes. When you copy others, you borrow their limits. When you stay original, you discover your potential. Originality unlocks innovation because it is rooted in authenticity rather than imitation. Many people wait for validation before they express themselves. They wait to see if their ideas will be accepted, liked, or approved. But originality does not ask for permission. It moves forward despite uncertainty. Those who lead are rarely understood at first. They are often called unrealistic, strange, or impossible. Yet, when their vision becomes reality, the same people who doubted them begin to follow. Staying original requires discipline. It means resisting shortcuts and trends that do not align with your values. It means choosing depth over popularity and purpose over applause. Trends fade, but principles endure. When you build your life on what is popular, your identity shifts with the crowd. When you build it on what is true, you remain grounded regardless of external changes. Comparison is another enemy of originality. The moment you compare your journey with someone else's, you lose focus. Everyone moves at a different pace. Everyone has a different calling. Comparison creates pressure to imitate success instead of creating it. Your path does not need to look like anyone else's to be valid. Trust your timing. Growth that is rushed often lacks depth. Original people are often misunderstood because they do not follow predictable patterns. They challenge norms and question assumptions. This makes others uncomfortable. But discomfort is often the beginning of growth. The world resists originality before it celebrates it. Do not let temporary misunderstanding silence your long-term purpose. Failure is also part of the original journey. When you walk an uncharted path, mistakes are inevitable, but failure does not define you, it refines you. Those who copy often avoid failure because they follow proven paths. Those who create must face uncertainty. But every failure carries lessons that cannot be learned through imitation. Letting the world copy you does not mean forcing influence. Influence is earned through consistency. When you stay original long enough, people begin to notice. They see your integrity, your persistence, and your confidence. They may not support you at first, but over time, respect grows. Authenticity has a quiet power that cannot be replicated. Originality is not about being different for the sake of difference. It is about alignment, aligning your actions with your beliefs. When your words and actions match, you gain credibility. People trust those who are consistent. They are drawn to those who are real in a world full of filters. Many people abandon their originality after their first success. They begin to adjust themselves to maintain approval. This is a dangerous place. When you start living to please others, you lose connection with your purpose. True success is not sustained by copying expectations, but by staying rooted in authenticity. The pressure to conform is strongest when you begin to stand out. At that stage, you must decide whether you want comfort or growth. Growth demands sacrifice, it demands patience, it demands resilience. But growth also brings fulfillment that conformity never can. Staying original also means evolving. Authenticity does not mean staying the same forever. Growth changes perspective. Learning sharpens vision. Staying original means staying honest with who you are becoming, not clinging to who you used to be. Evolution guided by values is powerful. Your originality will inspire others even when you are unaware of it. Someone is watching how you speak, how you act, how you stay true under pressure. Leadership is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet consistency. When others see you remain authentic in difficult situations, they gain permission to do the same. Letting the world copy you means setting a standard, not chasing one. Standards attract followers naturally. When your work reflects excellence, people study it. When your character reflects integrity, people respect it. Influence flows from substance, not from noise. Originality also requires solitude. Creativity and clarity are often born in silence. When you constantly consume external input, you drown out your inner voice. Take time to disconnect from the noise. Reflection strengthens originality. The world rewards trends quickly but forgets them just as fast. It remembers originality. Those who remain true leave lasting impact. Their ideas outlive them. Their influence extends beyond their time. That is the power of staying original. At times, staying original will feel lonely. You may feel like no one understands your vision. But loneliness is often a sign that you are ahead of your time. Stay patient. Stay grounded. Stay committed. The right people will eventually find you. Your purpose is not to impress the world, but to express your truth. Expression creates connection. When people connect with your truth, influence becomes natural. You do not need to chase recognition when your work speaks clearly. Staying original also means taking responsibility for your choices. You cannot blame others for your direction when you choose authenticity. Accountability strengthens character. Strong character sustains influence. Do not underestimate the power of small original actions. Consistency compounds. Small steps taken with integrity create momentum. Over time, that momentum becomes movement. Let the world copy your discipline, your mindset, your values, not just your success. Success without character is shallow, but success built on authenticity creates legacy. In the end, trends will fade, opinions will shift, and applause will quiet. What remains is who you were when no one was watching. Stay original in those moments. That is where true greatness is formed. Stay original when it is uncomfortable. Stay original when it is slow. Stay original when it is lonely. Because one day, what once made you different will make you undeniable. Let the world copy you, not because you tried to lead, but because you refused to pretend. Staying original often comes with a price that many people are not willing to pay. That price is misunderstanding. When you choose originality, you step outside familiar paths, and unfamiliar paths make people uncomfortable. Humans are naturally drawn to what they recognize. Anything new is first questioned, then resisted, and only later accepted. Understanding this prepares you mentally and emotionally for the resistance that originality brings. One of the hardest moments on the journey of originality is when your effort is invisible. When you are building something new, there is rarely instant validation. People praise results, not process. But originality is built in the process, quietly, patiently, and consistently. This phase tests your commitment. It forces you to answer an important question. Are you doing this for applause or because it is true to who you are? Originality also demands emotional maturity. When criticism comes, you must learn to listen without losing yourself. Not all criticism is useful, but all criticism reveals something, either about the critic or about areas you need to refine. Mature originality knows the difference. It filters noise without silencing growth. Many people copy because copying feels safe. It offers proven outcomes and social acceptance. Originality, on the other hand, feels risky because it has no guarantee. But every meaningful achievement in history began as a risk. The comfort of imitation produces average results. The discomfort of originality creates extraordinary outcomes. Another overlooked aspect of originality is patience. Results take time when you are building something new. You are not just creating output, you are shaping identity. Identity cannot be rushed. When people try to accelerate growth by copying others, they may gain speed, but they lose direction. Originality strengthens resilience. When you fail on a copied path, the failure feels personal and confusing because it was never truly yours. But when you fail on an original path, the failure becomes a teacher. It sharpens judgment, builds wisdom, and increases clarity. Every mistake becomes data. Staying original also changes how you define success. Instead of measuring success by external metrics alone, you begin to measure it by alignment. Are your actions aligned with your values? Is your progress aligned with your purpose? This internal alignment creates peace even during slow seasons. The world often celebrates originality only after it becomes profitable. But profit is not the beginning of influence. It is a result of consistency. Many innovators were ignored, mocked, or rejected before they were recognized. Their strength was not prediction. It was persistence. As you stay original, You also develop discernment. You become selective about influences. You stop consuming everything and start choosing intentionally. This selective mindset protects creativity and sharpens focus. Not every opportunity is worth taking. Not every trend deserves attention. Originality eventually creates leadership. Not leadership by title, but leadership by example. People begin to ask how you think, how you work, how you remain grounded. At that point, the world is not copying your style, it is learning from your substance. Letting the world copy you also requires humility. Influence is not about ego, it is about responsibility. When people look up to you, your choices carry weight. Staying original means staying accountable to the standard you set. Hypocrisy destroys influence faster than failure. Your originality will evolve as you grow. Growth will refine your thinking and mature your vision. Do not confuse evolution with inconsistency. Staying original does not mean staying rigid, it means staying honest through change. Eventually, originality becomes legacy. Long after trends fade, what remains is the example you lived. People may forget your words, but they will remember your courage to be real in a world full of imitation. Staying original is not the easiest path, but it is the most fulfilling. It gives your life coherence, direction, and meaning. You no longer chase relevance. Relevance follows authenticity. So stay original when the pressure is high. Stay original when the progress is slow. Stay original when copying feels tempting. Because the world does not change by repetition. It changes by those who dare to be real. Let the world copy you not because you demanded attention, but because you lived with truth, discipline, and courage. 2.